Hi everyone, this is Chris. Today I'm going to be doing a little video about Tyrants in Salem. It's basically a online web browser game. I played it, I really like it, but it's a little bit toxic at times. So here you're going to see a little bit of the gameplay and just how toxic the community can get. So loading up the game here. This game is pretty good. It's sort of like a murder mystery game that's set in the Salem witch trials. So you basically have someone in the team who is a killer or a witch, and the people of the town have to sort of work together to find who the killer is. And we don't exactly know who the killer is, because no one knows who everyone else is. When the game starts, everyone is assigned a random role, and these roles vary from a sheriff to an investigator to a doctor to the killer, so everyone in the role has something to do with the game. But we don't know who's who in the game, and that's where the sort of the mystery comes from. So the point of the game is for basically everyone to come together and to find the killer and to lynch them. It's a pretty cool game. I'm going to show you a little bit about it. I'm actually on a new account here because my previous account's game was banned because basically they said I was cheating, but I don't really cheat at the game. I'm just really good at it. And so basically, if you're too good at an online game, they'll ban you for it, which is probably one of the, yeah, it's not great. So, like, the support for the game isn't very good. A lot of the people who probably run it on the servers, the forums, and all that, they're not the greatest. So, yeah. So, I'm going to put my name down here. I'm going to put, let's see what I'm going to put. Goku, yeah, that's what we'll put down. I can't do all caps. So yeah, Goku. Who wants a dragon fisting? So in the lower corner of the section, you can basically see a chat box, which is everyone talking about, what's going on, what's role they are. And this right here is the role wheel, where basically it spins and gives everyone a random role. Ooh, got Transporter. Transporter is really good. This is probably one of my favorite roles in this game. What it can do is I can basically swap the spots of any two people in the game, and it can do some crazy good abilities. In fact, this is probably the single strongest role in the game. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a bait play at the very start of the game. So I'm going to make something that's ridiculous, and it's going to make the serial killer attack me the very first night. And then it's a pretty good strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap myself out with someone else, knowing that the serial killer is going to attack me after I made a bait claim as the mayor. Now, this is kind of the stuff that got me banned. It's basically called metagaming. It's basically that I'm so good at this game, I know what they're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the person I transported myself with in my death note. So that way, if I die, the town will know who to go after. Sort of like a, it's basically just a bait play. Then we just let the night go. Oh, shit. Alright, so basically, what just happened is I got an award for basically making the serial killer attack themselves. Now, because the serial killer attacked me and I swapped myself with Queenly, I basically know that Queenly is the serial killer. Well, not necessarily the serial killer, I just know that they are the attacking role. So at this point in this game, I have effectively won. I've effectively already revealed who the killer actually is in the game at the very first night. So all the town has to do is kill the serial killer to win the game. This right here is reading of everyone's death notes, which gives good information about what happened on the previous nights. Now, we didn't really do too well because the jailer was basically killed on the first night. Now, the jailer is sort of a power role for the town. Ooh, we got a mafia role. Now, the mafia are sort of like the bad guys on the town. Like, there's basically split between three groups. You basically have the town members, which are shown in green, the mafia members that are shown in red, and then the serial killer that's shown in blue. And of course, these idiots are going after me instead of basically the serial killer. Basically, what happened was when I swapped my place with the serial killer, the person who tried to role block me instead ended up role blocking the serial killer. So basically, the serial killer killed them and basically attacked himself. And now the town is lynching me, which is just utterly ridiculous considering I'm basically like won the game essentially. Yep. Nothing like a game throwing town. When you have a situation where the serial killer is literally revealed on the first night, but instead they kill basically the most powerful role in the game. So you can also sort of tell who's actually game throwing here, because if you look at the people they're actually pushing to kill a member of their own town. Basically, for revealing who the killer was, which is just utterly crazy. And then here's sort of the linchpin in the whole thing, right? So if you look at my death note, I literally say who the killer actually is. I literally say that the killer is Queenly. So now, basically, I'm dead. And when you're dead, it's sort of like it's like you're removed from the actual game. You can still see the events that can happen. And in the event there's a role called a retributionist, they can actually revive you and bring you back into the game. So it's sort of like I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. Sort of like an excluded group from the other members. Now, nothing I say can actually impact the actual flow of the game, because the actual alive members have a separate chat than the people who are dead. Now, because I'm basically dead, I can talk with all the other killed players. So at this point, I basically have to convince the medium role, which is a role in the game that has the ability to communicate with the excluded players and the basically the players who are dead. So the medium can basically is the only person who can actually talk to the various dead players. However, in this game, the medium doesn't seem to be very intelligent. At this point, there's not really much I can do other than trying to convince a medium to actually go after the serial killer that's already been revealed at the start of the game. This game's a little bit slow because I'm not actually in there, because my player's actually dead at this time. But in other games, I'll last in there a little bit longer, and it'll be a little bit more interesting. Here it looks like they're trying to kill a jester role. Now, what the jester role has the ability to do is the jester effectively wants to be hung. So the jester basically has to convince everyone to actually kill them. While the other roles are trying to go and find the killer, the jester kind of works as kind of like a decoy. So while the jester role sort of like it works as a distraction to get the town off the actual path of the killer and onto basically themselves. So they win the game when the jester is actually killed instead of killing the enemies. See, the jester is dead. Which is anything, that's probably game throwing on their side, because they're probably friends with like another player and having like a screen or something like that. They probably have a chat going on. They probably just communicate with a friend to get them hung. This game has serious problems with basically cheating. Like, in my situation, I was able to deduce who the serial killer was based on basically nailing them the first night. But a lot of other people in this game basically have various bots or various, split screen, or even just have a chat with other players to basically make them win. It's kind of shitty. It's kind of like the downside of playing these online games. I mean, the game is still in function a really fantastic game, as it's basically a werewolf and mafia with just like a sort of a UI for it. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good game. It's sort of poorly implemented in the sort of like how it's made. So at this point, it's basically just a rush to see who is going to win between the mafia roles or the serial killer. As the mafia is basically two evil roles left, and the serial killer is basically a single role by itself. So the mafia should outnumber the serial killer at this point. Next to the graveyard that shows the players who've been killed this game, you also have the role list that shows what roles are actually in the game. So as you can see, there's basically 3 mafia roles. Mafia just went down. So basically, it's the Godfather, a serial killer, and then 2 town members is what it looks like. It's a damn game throwing medium. With just now, are they starting to realize that basically the serial killer who was revealed on the very first night of the game is actually the killer. So this is what it comes down to: is basically there's 2 members of the town, and then there's 2 members of either the killing roles, which is the Godfather of the Mafia and the serial killer. Now, the serial killer both get to kill tonight, so there's basically no chance for the town to actually be able to win. Damn game throwing bastards. Like, he was literally revealed on the very first night of the game, and they could have killed him and they could have easily won. But instead, they basically killed me and they basically just threw the entire game. These last few rounds are where it gets. Oh, one of them is a veteran. Now, what the veteran can do is it's basically a town role that can go and they can kill anyone who attacks them. So if the Godfather was to attack a veteran, the veteran can defend himself and then take out the Godfather. The veteran is also an extremely powerful town role. I had to type and try to talk to at the same time. These idiots. Yeah, like I got him like the very first night. Like this is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean I'm basically the best player this round of the game. Like I single-handedly basically won the game, and then the town basically gamed through the whole entire game. And now there's no one that can really stop the serial killer. So the serial killer has just won the round because they're just going to kill whoever's left. Function. Because basically, like, as transporter, I had the ability to single-handedly win this game by myself, but was basically targeted for being the best player in the game. I mean, it's crazy, right? Because I was able to basically bait out the serial killer in the very first night, and then when they attacked me, I was able to make them attack themselves, and I was able to get a reward for. So when I got that reward, it was pretty clear indication that this person was actually the killer. But of course, they still go and they still game throw. And that was a veteran, so he could have killed the serial killer.